When we think about philosophy, the word might seem intimidating or abstract, something reserved for deep thinkers or scholars. But in reality, philosophy is all around us, woven into the questions we ask ourselves daily about life, purpose, and existence. One philosopher who has had a profound influence on how we think about these topics is Søren Kierkegaard. His ideas might seem complex at first glance, but when we break them down, they touch on some of the most relatable and essential aspects of being human. Kierkegaard was born in Copenhagen, Denmark, in 1813. The world he grew up in was very different from today's fast-paced digital world. But the questions he grappled with, like who am I, and what does it mean to live a meaningful life, are timeless. He didn't just study these questions, he lived them. Kierkegaard's personal life was marked by deep introspection, and his thoughts evolved from his experiences, especially his relationship with his father. His father was a man of deep faith, but also one who struggled with a sense of guilt and despair. This environment of religious intensity and introspection shaped Kierkegaard's thinking from a young age. As Kierkegaard matured, he became increasingly dissatisfied with the conventional philosophical ideas of his time. The thinkers he studied, particularly those influenced by the Enlightenment, focused on reason, logic, and scientific thought. These were valuable in many ways, but to Kierkegaard, they left out something crucial: the emotional and spiritual aspects of human life. He believed that life couldn't be reduced to mere logic or scientific formulas. For Kierkegaard, living was much more personal and passionate, an adventure filled with uncertainty, struggle, and meaning. This led Kierkegaard to develop a philosophy centered around the individual and the choices we make in our lives. One of his most significant contributions to philosophy is his exploration of the concept of angst, or existential anxiety. Now, when we hear the word anxiety today, we often think about stress, worry, or even clinical anxiety that affects mental health. But Kierkegaard's concept of angst is different. It's not just a fleeting feeling of nervousness or fear about a specific situation. Instead, it's a deeper sense of unease that comes from something far more fundamental: the sheer fact that we are free to choose our path in life and that the future is uncertain. Imagine standing at the edge of a cliff, looking out at a vast landscape of possibilities. You know that every step you take will lead you in a different direction, and there's no clear way to know which is right. This is what Kierkegaard described as existential anxiety. It's the feeling we get when we realize that life is full of choices, and these choices come with no guarantees. We are free to choose, but that freedom also brings with it a sense of responsibility and sometimes fear. What if we make the wrong choice? What if the path we take leads to failure or regret? Kierkegaard believed that this anxiety is an inevitable part of the human condition. We can't escape it because it arises from our very nature as self-aware beings capable of making decisions. However, he didn't view this anxiety as entirely negative. In fact, Kierkegaard thought that this feeling was essential for living a truly meaningful life. It's only by confronting this anxiety, by accepting that life is uncertain and that our choices matter, that we can begin to live authentically. So, what does it mean to live authentically in Kierkegaard's view? Living authentically means taking ownership of our lives, embracing our freedom, and making choices that reflect our true selves, rather than simply following societal expectations or going along with what others think is best for us. It's about asking ourselves, what do I truly value? What kind of life do I want to live? And having the courage to act on those answers even when the path is unclear or risky. Kierkegaard believed that too often people fall into the trap of living inauthentically. They conform to the expectations of society, trying to fit into predefined roles or following the safe path, without ever really considering whether it aligns with their own values and desires. This, he thought, was a kind of spiritual death. It might look like we're living productive, successful lives on the surface, but inside we feel empty, disconnected, and unfulfilled. We lose touch with who we really are. One of the key reasons people avoid living authentically, Kierkegaard argued, is that it's easier to conform. It's comfortable to follow the crowd because it shields us from the anxiety of making difficult personal choices. But this avoidance of anxiety comes at a cost. It keeps us from discovering our true selves and living a life that feels genuinely meaningful. Kierkegaard's philosophy encourages us to confront this discomfort head-on. He believed that by embracing our anxiety, rather than running from it, we can begin to live with greater passion and purpose. And this brings us to another one of Kierkegaard's major ideas, the importance of passion in life. For Kierkegaard, passion wasn't just about intense emotions or fleeting excitement. It was about a deep, existential commitment to what really matters. Passion, in this sense, is the driving force that motivates us to live according to our values, even when it's challenging or uncertain. It's what helps us push through the anxiety of decision-making and take risks in pursuit of what we truly care about. Think of passion as the fuel that propels us forward. Without it, life can feel flat and directionless. With passion, even the toughest obstacles and anxieties become more bearable because we're moving towards something that has meaning. Whether it's a passion for creativity, relationships, personal growth, or a spiritual calling, Kierkegaard believed that living with passion is essential for finding fulfillment in life. However, Kierkegaard didn't think that passion alone was enough. It needed to be directed towards something deeper, something he called subjective truth. In philosophy, we often talk about objective truths, facts that can be measured, proven, and universally agreed upon. But Kierkegaard was more interested in subjective truth, the personal truths that are meaningful to us as individuals. These are the beliefs, values, and commitments that guide how we live, even if they can't be scientifically proven or logically explained. Kierkegaard emphasized that finding our subjective truth is one of the most important tasks of life. It's not about discovering some external formula for happiness or success. Instead, it's about looking inward and asking ourselves what truly matters to us. What are the values, beliefs, or passions that we would be willing to live and die for? This process of self-examination is deeply personal, and the answers will be different for everyone. This brings us to one of Kierkegaard's most famous ideas, the leap of faith. Living according to our subjective truth often requires us to take a leap of faith, especially when we face uncertainty. In life, we rarely have all the answers. We don't know what the future holds, and we can't predict the outcomes of our choices with absolute certainty. Yet we must make choices anyway. Kierkegaard believed that taking a leap of faith means acting with courage and conviction, even when we don't have all the evidence or guarantees. For example, think about love. When you fall in love with someone, you can never be 100% certain about how things will turn out. There are no guarantees that the relationship will last forever or that you won't face challenges. But love requires you to take that leap, to trust in your feelings, to commit, and to invest in the relationship, even in the face of uncertainty. Kierkegaard saw this kind of leap as essential, not just in love, but in all areas of life. Whether we're pursuing a career, a creative passion, or a spiritual journey, we must be willing to take risks, to trust in our own experiences, and to follow our hearts. But taking this leap of faith is easier said than done. Many people avoid it because it feels too risky. They prefer to stay in their comfort zones, where everything is predictable and safe. Kierkegaard called this kind of life inauthentic, because it's not based on real passion or personal truth. It's a life of avoidance, where we distract ourselves with the comforts of routine, social approval, and superficial success. In today's world, it's easier than ever to fall into this trap. We have endless distractions at our fingertips: social media, entertainment, consumerism, that can numb us to life's deeper questions. We can go through the motions of life without ever really engaging with the bigger picture. But Kierkegaard warned that this kind of distracted living leads to a sense of emptiness. It keeps us from confronting the real anxieties and challenges that could push us toward personal growth and fulfillment. Instead, Kierkegaard encouraged us to embrace solitude and reflection. In moments of quiet, when we're free from distractions, we have the space to think deeply about our lives. We can confront our anxieties, examine our choices, and consider what really matters to us. It's in these moments of introspection that we can find clarity about our values and desires. And once we have that clarity, we can start living with more intention and authenticity. Kierkegaard's ideas may seem daunting at first, but they offer us a roadmap for living a life that feels deeply meaningful. Yes, life is filled with uncertainty and anxiety, but rather than viewing these as obstacles, Kierkegaard invites us to see them as opportunities for growth. By confronting our anxieties, embracing our freedom, and living with passion and purpose, we can move toward a life that feels truly authentic.